The Apostle Philip the Evangelist became the first bishop or leader of the Nazarene Ecclesia in Caesarea, the port city of Herod the Great. Along the docks of this thriving Mediterranean port city, Philip had set up residence with his 4 daughters recognized as prophetesses in a town that was more liberal, cosmopolitan, and free. This city became the gateway of the Nazarenes to the rest of the Roman world. Along the landing slips were ships docked from every port of the Mediterranean, around the coast of Spain, up the Atlantic Ocean, to the western isles of Britannia. The Jewish Nazarenes and soon-to-be Gentile Christians would freely travel around the Roman Empire. Upon Joseph of Arimathea's return to the British Isles, now as an emissary of the Nazarenes, the first international message of the death and resurrection of Jesus reached the Archdruids of Britain and the royal Silurian family of Wales. It appears that the evening of the trial and death of Yeshua, when the elder of the Sanhedrin, Joseph of Arimathea, boldly claimed the body of Jesus, within hours the temple guards took him into custody and put him into chains. There, with the seal of Caiaphas, he was imprisoned. Even though Joseph of Arimathea was protected under Roman law as a Roman decurio, for he was an officer in the Roman army, he could not escape the fury of Caiaphas and Annas for what he had done for Jesus. He had denied them the opportunity to forever dispose of the body of Jesus. Instead, he sealed Jesus in a tomb like the royal prince of David, which he truly was. His position as one of the elders in the Jewish Sanhedrin was stripped, yet his friendship with the Roman procurator Pontius Pilate protected him. Of all the members of the friends and disciples of Yeshua, Joseph retained the power and authority of the Roman government, and his vast estates in Jerusalem and Ramallah north of Jerusalem provided a safe haven for the members of the early Nazarene Ecclesia in its days of infancy. The Druids arrived at Marseille. They came from Cornwall on the southwest coast of Britain, and with 2 elegant sailing rowing ships proceeded down the west coast of Gaul and Spain through the Strait of Gibraltar and thence to Marseille. These were very special Druids. They were highly placed bishops of the British Mother Druidic Church and came eager to receive the new gospel of the Way. But more importantly, they came as emissaries of the British Crown Prince Arviragus, bearing a magnanimous offer from King Cunobelinus himself. These 2 royal men, together with a 3rd prince, represented the royal Silurian dynasty, the most powerful warrior kingdom in the Britain of AD 36. It is from this dynasty that the well-known Tudor kings and queens have had their descent. The 3rd man in this dynastic trilogy was Prince Caradoc, a renowned warrior patriot, whom the Romans dreaded and respected. They renamed him Caratacus, and he is known in history by this name. The Druidic delegation was enthusiastic in their invitation to Joseph, urging him to return to Britain with them in their boats, and there teach the Christ gospel. The offer that the king was making to Joseph included a large tract of land at Avalon, plus a safe haven and protection for the conquering Roman armies. The Pendragon was fighting for the protection that his promises and honor demanded. As history would defend, by the promise against the intrusion of the legions of Rome, the countryside on both sides of the Severn River was held fast by the Cymric Silurian Welsh. It was a secure zone in which the legions of Kaiser Caligula, Octavian, and Nero were never able to penetrate. The fear of the legions was profound. As they marched across the landscape of Britain, they uprooted, destroyed everything that was Druidic and Jewish. Together in the minds of the Kaisers, the Druids and the Jews were one. When Tiberius Kaiser exiled the Jews from Rome in 42 CE, he also launched a massive invasion with 5 of the best generals of Rome upon the Isle of Britannia. It was their military intent to conquer the island of Britain for Rome, and to destroy the religious centers of the Druids and the Jewish Nazarenes, who already were sending waves of missionaries into Gaul that incited the population to fight for the divine rights as free men. Joseph and his 12 saints joyfully accepted the offering of the bishops, and together they set sail for Britain. The Druids were eager to learn firsthand of the crucifixion of Jesus. The trip of Avalon became the beginning of their ready conversion to Christianity. On board ship, teacher-student relationships quickly developed, the Druidic prelates readily recognizing the death of Jesus, the fulfillment of prophecy. The fact that the Druids knew the name of Jesus long before his birth in Bethlehem has astounded students of theology over the centuries. The safe arrival of Joseph and his companions at Marseille, and thence back to Britain, shows the hand of God working out his purpose to fulfill the prophetic words of Jesus, which were to come to the lost sheep of Israel. From this point on, the Druidic name and religion in Britain and Gaul would seamlessly fade out, superseded by the name and religion called Christianity. The boats arrived near Cornwall and sailed up an estuary about 12 miles inland. Here the group disembarked. They came upon an area of marshlands which surrounded areas of high ground. These land formations were referred to as islands, and the most inspiring of these was the sacred Isle of Avalon. Its shores sheltered in apple orchards. The apple was the sacred fruit of the Druids. Years later, after the Saxons had taken over Britain, monks drained the marshes, and where the islands once were, it became a dry plain to be given the name Glastonbury by the Saxons. The travellers made their way up a hill, which is known from antiquity as Wearial Hill, and this is the historic tale of Joseph being weary from the ocean trip, stopped to rest and thrust his staff into the ground, whereupon it became part of the earth, taking root and flourishing. It is said that the tree sprang from a fragment of Christ's crown of thorns, brought there by the same Saint Joseph of Arimathea. The thorn is a variety known as Crategus monogyna biflora, usually seen in the Middle East, and unusual in that it flowers twice a year, in spring and again in winter, when the fruits of the spring blossoms are still the tree. The average lifespan of the tree is approximately 100 years, but some have survived for several centuries. Many have tried to grow the Glastonbury thorn from seed and direct cuttings, but it can only be grown by being grafted onto the common hawthorn, Crategus monogyna. Between 642 CE and 1651 saw the time of the English Civil War and the execution of Charles I, the replacement of the monarchy with the Commonwealth of England, 1649 to 53, followed by a protectorate, 1653 to 59, under the personal rule of Oliver Cromwell. Ordered to be cut down by one of Cromwell's soldiers on the grounds that it was a relic of superstition, we are told that as it fell, its thorns blinded the axeman in one eye. It did not end there, and local people protected and cultivated the tree in secret until such a time when a new chapter for the Holy Thorn could begin.